Hello student. In the last session we discussed the introductory part and the definition of alcohol, phenol and ether. In this session we have to mainly discuss about the classification of alcohol and the next one the classification of a monohedric alcohol. The first of all we have to discuss about the classification of alcohol. The general representation of alcohol is a ROH. Here the R is a alkyl group and OH is a hydroxyl group. Then depending upon the how many number of hydroxyl group into the alcohol we have to classify into different type. First of all is a monohedric alcohol, dihedric alcohol, trihedric alcohol and the polyhedric alcohol. Let us see what is a monohedric alcohol. The monohedric alcohol in which the only one OH group is present. Means the alcohol which contain only one hydroxyl group is present is called as the monohedric alcohol. For example, CH3CH2OH. Here the compound contain only one OH group, therefore ethyl alcohol is an example of a monohedric alcohol. The next one is a dihedric alcohol, means the compound which contain the two hydroxyl group. For example, is a CH2CH2 is a ethylene and then OH group is a ethylene glycol is an example of a dihedric alcohol, and in which the two OH group, but you have to remind the two OH group is attached to the adjacent or the different carbon atom. This ethylene glycol, it is used as an antifreeze or the coolant into the vehicles. ज्या कार सारख्या ज्या व्हेकल्स असतात त्यांच्यामध्ये आपण तो कूलंट म्हणून त्याचा यूज करतो. नेक्स्ट वन ट्रायहायड्रिक अल्कोहोल इन व्हिच देर इज अ 3 OH ग्रुप इज प्रेझेंट. फॉर एक्झाम्पल इज अ CH2OH, CHOH and CH2OH is a glycerol. This is an example of a trihedric alcohol. This is a use into the मेडिसिन. समजा आपल्या केसातील डॅन्ड्रफ जर काढायचा असेल तर ह्या ग्लिसेरॉलचा आपण यूज करतो. अँड द लास्ट कन्सेप्ट इज अ पॉलीहायड्रिक अल्कोहोल. द पॉलीहायड्रिक अल्कोहोल इन व्हिच देर इज अ मोर दॅन 3 OH group present into the compound are called as the polyhydric. For example is a sorbitol. The sorbitol is a polyhydric alcohol in which the 6 hydroxyl group is present. And student, the next topic of today's session is a classification of a monohedric alcohol. All of you know the monohedric alcohol, there are the one OH group is present. Then the classification, the first classification of monohedric alcohol is a alcohol containing sp3 carbon OH bond. The carbon is a sp3. When the carbon is a sp3, when which is attached to another carbon by single bond. And further these we have to classify into 3 type. One is a primary alcohol, secondary alcohol and tertiary alcohol. The hydroxyl group is attached to the which type of carbon, then we have to classify alcohol into primary, secondary and tertiary. First of all, primary alcohol, when the OH group is attached to the primary carbon atom, and when the primary carbon atom which is attached to another only one carbon atom, okay, is called as the primary alcohol. Therefore is a CH3CH2OH is an example of a primary alcohol. Next one, the second one, when the hydroxyl group is attached to the secondary carbon atom and which is attached to another 2 carbon atom, this is called as the secondary alcohol. Is a CH3CH3CH is a isopropyl alcohol is an example of the secondary. And the last one, the tertiary alcohol, when the OH group is attached to the tertiary carbon atom, when the carbon is a tertiary which is attached to another 3 carbon atom, is a CH3CH3CH3 is called as the tertiary alcohol, and this name is tertiary butyl alcohol. Next one, the next classification of monohedric alcohol is a allylic alcohol in which the OH group is attached to the sp3 carbon atom. All of you know that when the carbon is a sp3 which is attached to another carbon by single bond and which is attached to carbon-carbon double bond is called as the allylic alcohol. Also we have to define find the OH group is attached to sp3 carbon atom which is attached to sp2 carbon atom is called as the allylic alcohol. Let us see the example. Is a CH2 double bond CH is a CH2OH. This is a example of a allylic alcohol. What is the name of that? Is a probe double bond at a 2 position and the one OL. This is a example of a allylic alcohol. The next classification of a monohedric alcohol is a benzylic alcohol. What is a benzylic alcohol? The benzylic alcohol in which the OH group is attached to the sp3 carbon atom and which is attached to the benzene ring is called as the benzylic alcohol. Let us see the example. Is a benzene, is a phenyl ring, is a CH2OH. Okay, is a benzyl alcohol. This is the example of a benzylic alcohol. If the carbon is a sp3 and this benzyl alcohol we have to use to kill the lice. ज्या केसांमध्ये ज्या उवा असतात त्यांना मारण्यासाठी हे बेन्झाइल अल्कोहोल औषध म्हणून वापरलं जातं. आणि शेवटचं द लास्ट वन इज अ व्हिनायलिक अल्कोहोल. द व्हिनायलिक अल्कोहोल इन व्हिच the hydroxyl group is attached to the sp2 carbon atom or the OH group is directly attached to carbon-carbon double bond. For example, is a CH2 double bond CHOH. Okay, is called as the vinyl alcohol. Is an example of a vinylic alcohol, and this vinyl alcohol we have to use for the preparation of a polymer like polyvinyl alcohol. Okay, like that we have to today's session discuss the classification of alcohol and the classification of a monohedric alcohol. Next session we have to see the nomenclature of a alcohol. Thank you.